Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Champagne Wives podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm your co-host, Nicole. Hey, Kel.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
We've been gone for a minute, but
A hot
back.
minute.
we
We are back, definitely
Yeah.
back, but we have been gone for a while.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like we're starting over a little bit. I don't know about you, but it feels like whenever I'm not in the studio, whenever I come back, I feel like I'm starting over again.
Yeah.
I'm getting reacclimated
Same.
and getting used to being like on camera in front of the mic and all that.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those skills. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right?
Yes,
So,
for sure. Like Excel spreadsheet show.
pivot tables. So what have you been up to?
A lot. So let's see what happened. There was 4th of July weekend. There was I have no idea how what happened in these last 3 weeks. All I know is that they went by super fast.
They did.
I know that the Supreme Court is trying to roll us back.
Yeah. Be in
right?
our wombs.
Trying to be exactly be in our
Basically.
wombs. And I know that like the Supreme Court just ruled to
Overturn Roe versus
overturn
Wade.
Roe versus Wade. So that was a lot. I've dealt with that. That hit me pretty hard. It took me like maybe 2 days to process that. Yeah.
Same. And significant implications there, right? So what that really does mean is that it pretty much allows states to have their local jurisdiction around how abortion rights are managed, and it takes it outside of the responsibility of the federal government, or the governance from the federal government is no longer there.
The protection.
So if you live in a conservative state,
like Texas,
your rights are increasingly more limited, right? Versus if you live in a more progressive state. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what comes from, I guess, the Biden administration around contraception, because they're saying it's just not going to stop
around
there.
traveling and going to other states that, where it's not illegal and that it's protected. What's going to happen there? And I'm just thinking about this, like if you are in that predicament and traveling to another state, that's as difficult as that is, right? Because you got to have the money to afford gas or a plane ticket, a hotel. Then you have to really bring someone along with you, because going to get an abortion is not something I assume you want to do by yourself.
You don't do that solo now.
Exactly. And so, but now just think about it. Like if you want an abortion, if these Republicans do what they want to do and pass laws where if you go to another state, you can be held accountable, by the law and be prosecuted in some kind of way.
That's
for traveling. Like, could you imagine thinking about picking up and moving and starting your life over somewhere else in a different state? Like, that would be so stressful already on top of a stressful moment in time.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Exactly. I'm fearful. I'm fearful for our daughters, right, who are growing up in what seems like a more increasingly conservative country where, rights that I know I was afforded, you were afforded growing up as young women might not be afforded to them.
Yeah.
So
I saw online someone say we have fewer rights than our mothers and grandmothers.
Yeah.
And that really hit home. And just think about our girls, who are relatively young. Your girl is 10, mine is 8. Right. To just grow up in a society where, women don't have the rights to choose or, rights over their own body.
Right.
I just think that's super scary, and I think it's a slippery slope. And
it really is. And, we're in HR. We've talked about this a trillion times if you've watched or listened to any of the episodes. And an interesting thing that I heard is that companies are starting to look at extending benefits, right, and covering travel.
My company has.
Oh, already?
I work for a very liberal company. Yes, they have. They have already.
That's fantastic.
Added that to the benefits package.
Right.
So we will pay the travel costs for a woman to go and get an abortion in another state.
Well, round of applause.
Let's cheers to that, actually. Yes. Why don't you go ahead and open the bottle of champagne to travel into another state and get an abortion and having it paid for.
Right. You think about, there are some companies, right, that shall go unnamed, but starts with an L, an H, and has an L in there as well. 2 words. And they don't cut
an H.
It rhymes with Bobby, starts with an H. The next word's L.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. A home decor place. Yeah.
So what did they do?
Well, they don't provide benefit or prescription drug coverage for birth control or contraception.
Oh my God, girl!
Because it's a staunchly Catholic
Oh, is it?
The founders are Catholic. Yep.
Let me see. Do I shop at that store? Maybe sometimes.
I know. Like I've gone and like actually heard like songs that I grew up singing in
Well,
mass.
it's just like
growing up as a
Chick-fil-A.
Catholic.
Like
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A has
Same
a
thing.
very Christian base and foundation. Wow.
This was under pressure, child.
Pressure?
Right.
Definitely was under pressure.
Oh my. Okay. My time to pour.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else
Carefully.
is going on? That was obviously a major.
So that was a major. And then, so it's just life, dealing with life. And obviously work kept me busy. Businesses, my bubbly bar has been just
booked and busy. Child.
So that has been like keeping me extremely busy on weekends. And so like it's been a while since I've had to not really, because I'm a realtor too. And I work on weekends sometimes as well as a realtor. But it was just like, you work your corporate job and you work Monday through Friday. And most people get to relax on the weekend. Not me. Your girl be hustling and bustling.
She does.
So that has kept me busy throughout the course of, the 3 weeks that we've been out of the studio. And then obviously being a wife, a mom, and then all the pressures that come along with, home life. Yeah. Trying to keep it all together, child.
Well, and true story, right? Last weekend was my daughter's 10th birthday, and you had a bubbly bar booking, right? And said booking was like in the throes of the party.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to...
I had to leave.
Force yourself to stay up and then go
force
get the
myself
car.
to stay up because I was sleepy.
Exhausted.
AF, like exhausted. But I forced myself to stay up and I had to leave. And first of all, the way I had stains on my shirt.
You were helping me out with this party. Cheers.
From the barbecue. Cheers. I was like, oh God. But yeah. It's all a blessing. I won't complain.
It is. We don't complain for
I
being
won't complain.
Busy. Okay. So, had my daughter's birthday. Work's been going good. Oh, I wish we just need a trash can right here. But work's been going good. And, I'll say that life at home, it's posing to be a little challenging and trying to balance all of it, right? Balance the passion for the podcast, balance the passion for wanting to be a mom, balance the passion for being a wife. So, we're working through that in the household every day. And, I'm confident we'll figure out what's the best thing for us to do. But it's always nice, right, at the end of the day to be able to have a girlfriend, have someone to talk to, have an outlet, a creative outlet to be able to really just authentically express yourself. So continue to remain grateful and have gratitude for all of this that we're doing. Yes.
I agree. And again, it's been a tussle, right? Because
a push and pull.
And in both of our lives. And, for us, we've found such an extreme passion for our podcast and coming on here and speaking our truth and being authentic in who we are and spending this time. It's hard maybe sometimes for people to get on board when they don't quite understand it. But when we started, we set these rules. And rule number one is, never let the podcast come in between relationships, right? Whether it be familial or friendships. And so, it's sometimes it can be challenging trying to juggle it all while trying to pursue a passion and really be in that 100%. Yeah. And also kind of keeping the house going and everyone happy there. It's definitely a delicate balance. And, sometimes can be a tussle. But we're doing it and we're doing it well. This is the last episode of season 2. It is. And we can cheers to that because we've made it through 2 seasons.
Yes, we did.
Unscathed. We still here. We're still here. And we will be here next season as well.
Better believe.
Better than ever. But I think that's the authenticity of our podcast. Like we don't sugarcoat anything. This is our real life and we try to be as authentic with our audience as possible. And, this really is a platform for us to come here and figure shit out.
Absolutely.
And use our experiences from the past, present, and what our hopes are for the future, right? To try to be who we are now and be in this moment and accomplish all the things that we're trying to accomplish at once.
In an effort to just work towards being the best version of ourselves, being great examples to our daughters. And that is so important. And you mentioned like calling on the past, right? And I think that's a great segue
to
what we wanted to talk about today, which is what are some things, because obviously I got a list, but what are some things that you would tell your 23-year-old self? So hindsight being 2020, right?
Yeah. So again, speaking of all the things that we've talked about, just kind of catching up, I think this episode is great just to be reflective on how far we've come and just thinking about as a young adult with everything that's going on right now, not only in our personal lives, but in the country and around the world, what we would tell ourselves, hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
So first, I would say be who you are unapologetically. And we mentioned courage season a lot.
We have,
this season. And I think a lot of it has to do with feeling great and turning this new leaf and entering a new chapter in my life with approaching the age of 40. But, I waited so long for this moment. And I just feel like if I could go back to my younger adult self, I would encourage myself to be who I am authentically and not try to be something else that I'm not, to try to appease somebody, whether that be a family member, a stranger, or whomever it is.
Right.
Just don't be afraid to be myself, because had I tapped into that back then, who knows, child? Like, courage season would have came a long time ago. Who knows? I would have been somewhere sitting on Mars, child. Like, who knows? Like, all this creative energy, all of this, I just, again, being here, speaking on a podcast, like, these are things that I never would have imagined for my life or for myself, being, the introvert that I am. But here I am.
I remember.
And I'm proud of that.
You have so much to be proud of. I go back and I remember our first recording and the tremor in your voice. I was like, she could do this. Like, she could definitely do this. She just got to get the nerves out of her. Yeah. And look where you are today, bitch.
The nerves are still there, but I learned to control them. You have to control the nerves.
Under control.
I think when you don't have the nerves, then that means that it's not worth it. It's not fun. It's not exciting.
It doesn't excite you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But the nerves are still there. And, you're right. And just like back then, today I just push through them, because it's something that I want, it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that I am going to do.
Right.
Period. Period. With a T.
We gonna figure it out.
We gonna figure it out.
So living your life earlier on, unapologetically.
Being who I am.
Being
doing
who
the
you
things
are.
that I want to do, the things that make me happy.
Right. And not living for others.
Yep.
Cosign, 1000%.
Was that on your list as well?
I had that on my list. I had it on my list. I had another one kind of along those lines. More from I broke it up professional, personal relationship, because, that's what I do.
Oh, Jesus. Thoughts, child.
So I said, it's important. I wish I would have not treated life with such a sense of like permanence at such a young age. I think in your 20s, like, it's hard for you to really envision, or at least for me, it was hard for me to envision what my life in my 30s, what my life in my 40s was going to be. And so I thought life started in my 20s when I was still figuring shit out. Like, it was okay. The only thing that was constant was change, and that was okay. And society allows that to be okay in your 20s. But I was not thinking that. And so in my mind, I'm like, I
have to have this and this by this age, by this time, and do that. Okay.
Like and it was one thing to be goal oriented, but I think this was a little obsessive, to be honest.
You were like a director by the time you were like what? You were like a super young director.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of responsibility at a really young age. Yeah. But as we were prepping, I was thinking, well, what was really at the root of that? And it had, I think, a lot to do with the fact that I was, raised by a migrant, an immigrant, and, it was all about getting as close to the American dream as possible, again, whatever that is. Yeah. But was very focused, very determined, very intent and intentional on wanting to have these things. And so I didn't really give myself the space to live unapologetically or to just lean into my authentic self. I was constantly in a fucking people pleasing mode. And that sucks. Yeah. That sucks because here I am at 40 plus 2, right? Asking myself the question, like, are you doing this for yourself or are you doing this for others? Yeah. And so it's definitely a bit of advice that I wish I would have taken.
The shit comes back to roost. Oh, like the chickens come home to roost. Like you could try to run from that as long as you possibly can, but it is going to hit you all of a sudden. And I've heard like from just multiple people who have crossed that threshold, even you, that when you turn a certain age, then all the things that you just mentioned are no longer a factor. Yeah. You know, no longer become a factor. And you're really more settled in who you are and who you are becoming, and just fuck it.
Like, it's really a no fucks given state of life.
Like, I mean, like, I don't know how y'all got all these fucks to give because I have none. You know, I still have a few though.
I mean, I have a couple. Respectfully, we have a couple.
I want to get to the point where I have none. Like, I
think that comes in your 60s.
Really?
Late 50s, 60s.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We shall see, child. But yeah.
So what else is on your list?
Okay, so don't be afraid to make decisions. Trust yourself. Like, I don't know if it's because of my upbringing or my personality. Like, I will debate back and forth on whether or not I want to do something, get something, go somewhere, et cetera, et cetera. And I always wait for opinions or ask for opinions or consider opinions when making those decisions. And so I want to be, I would tell myself, just trust yourself, trust your own instincts, right? You don't have to get approval or seek approval to do what makes you happy or do what you think is in the best interest for yourself. And be confident in that, you know, everything is going to work out. And if it does not work out, it's going to be okay.
It will be.
It will be okay.
It always is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, most times
it's okay. But even if it's not okay, it's going to be okay if you don't die.
But did you die?
But did you die? Like, seriously, though. Like, or go to jail, obviously, or get hurt. I mean, you know, I could go down that rabbit hole, but I'm just saying, exactly.
But that's a really hard one. I'm not going to lie. That is a really hard one. Like, again, even today at 40 plus 2, like that is something that I am leaning into where it's like, okay, trust your instincts, trust your gut. And I would say, I feel like you have a very strong level of intuition and gut. Like, yeah, like you'll talk about things, but I think that once your decision is made, for the most part, your mind's pretty made up.
I'm done. You can't convince me, child. Like, I'm stubborn.
I feel like you just let me know what you're going to do. You're not asking for my opinion.
But I am going to think about it and go back and forth for a very long time. Yeah. Like, you know, my decisions, I don't make decisions silly-nilly. I'm very methodical.
You are.
But when I settle on it, I'm done.
Done.
No. Can't.
You stand firm in it. You stand firm in it. And I absolutely respect that about you. And that's one of the traits that I think is one of the most admirable traits that you have. I'm trying to be you when I grow up.
Thank you.
So I had, you know, something related to professional. I wish I would have spent more time being selective about the people that I surrounded myself with, right? You think about your network, you think about friends that you have. In my 20s, I grew up under a thumb, right? And so when I went to college, I was focused on education and academics, but I was also focused on having a good fucking time. Yeah. And then that extended because I didn't have the academics. All I had was the job that extended into my 20s. So I wish I would have spent more time being selective and curating my friend group and my network group, because I think that could have changed the trajectory of my life. And no regrets. And I still have very good friends that I'm friends with, and dear friends that I'm friends with from my 20s. But a lot of them, the only contact I have with them is through an Instagram feed.
Yeah, or Facebook channel.
Well, I deleted it.
Yes, that's where all the old contacts are. High school, middle school, child, elementary.
I deleted Facebook.
Uncles, all of that.
Quit that. So that is something that I wish. Again, no regrets, but I just think I question. Yeah. You know, where would the trajectory of my life be had I been a little bit more selective around who I gave my energy to and like who I protected my energy from.
Yes.
You know,
that's definitely, well, I learned that early on. My mom instilled in that in us, like from the very beginning, like choose who your friends are. Yeah. Not only choose who your friends are, the people who are good to you, but be good to them.
Right.
And so throughout my life, I've been very intentional about my relationships. I think I said no new friends before Drake said it. Like literally, I was that.
That was
like, it was hard for me to build a relationship or establish a relationship with people. On the flip side of that, though, I wish I could have been a little bit more open. Because as I obviously have gotten older, I've been more open with allowing people into my space and allowing allowing the friendships to blossom. Right. I mean, even our relationship, right? That's a testament to that because you know we lived across the street from each other, and I was just like, hey,
we're like two and a half, almost 3 years.
Yeah. We said hi and bye, and that was fine. You know. But you know, life happened and, you know, we both allowed for a conversation to happen and a friendship to blossom. And so I'm appreciative of that. And so to your point, I agree with you. And I think that it is great to protect your space and have really good friends to kind of navigate life with. I think it's also important to allow new people in your life and form new experiences because you never know what can come from those situations, just like us.
That's right.
But I protected my peace, child. Back then, even if I did let people in, like the first time I saw some bullshit, you was done. You're cut off. Bye. Done. And that's my third one. Let shit go, sis. Like I just let shit go. I swear, just let shit go.
So what you mean by that?
Just stop holding grudges. Like stop being like just so mean. Like I was just a very hard person, you know, and would just let filth come out of my mouth, like just all out of my mouth, like very angry, very you know hurtful. But I was hurt, and there are emotions and you know that I had to deal with internally for myself, to be able to heal, to be able to have the wherewithal to have conversations with people and communicate my feelings, instead of going off, right? But yeah, I just, you know, again, letting shit go. Like, and I talked about it on the podcast. Like if somebody did something to offend me or to hurt me, instead of saying, you know, they meant that shit, I'm done with it, having a conversation with them, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the times when people do things to hurt you, it's not intentional. Right. You know, they may be going through their own shit. So just, you know, my emotional intelligence was not on point, child.
But it's there
as much as I thought it was.
It's there now.
And it's definitely there now,
but
for
did
sure.
we even know what emotional intelligence was back then?
No.
It wasn't a thing. No. It was like, oh, like they have IQ and EQ, but like the research that's been done had not been done. Okay, so let me round out.
I'll just say, being in corporate America, so I have therapy. I have a personal therapist. I have a relationship therapist. And I feel like I also go through therapy at work because again, I work for a very progressive company, and we talk a lot about emotional intelligence. We talk a lot about bringing your whole self to work. We talk a lot about perceptions and unconscious biases and how to show up as your best self. Like we talk about all of this, and like the nuggets that I get from some of our sessions at work are really more beneficial than the sessions that I get with my therapist. So I think it's all of it combined, I think has helped me to get to a point where, you know, I'm much more calm and I'm able to let shit go a lot easier because now I feel like I have the tools with all the work that I have and have done and all the things and resources that have been poured into me to just have conversations or look at a situation from a different lens and a different perspective.
Agreed. And so much to unpack there.
Okay, Oprah.
Okay, so go back, like rewind, the murder of George Floyd, right? When there were all of these EQ sessions, all of these trainings that we went to. And I don't know about you, but like I would sit through these trainings. I would even deliver these trainings and feel like, okay, like this is lip service. It doesn't really feel real until we had the civil unrest on the other side of the murder of George Floyd. And then it felt real. Then it felt authentic. Then it felt like the teachings and the actual expectation of me showing up as my whole and authentic self were aligned. Because for so long, I just felt like it was like, show up, but not too much.
Not too much.
Not too much. And now I feel like, oh, okay. Like they want it.
They depends
to an extent
on who they are, right? And we talked about this on another episode. Yes and no. I've been very fortunate. I have a mentor who and a sponsor who is very real with me, and she's a white woman, and a
white woman.
She is somebody who I do feel like I can speak with. I talked to her about a situation and about maybe an unconscious bias from another one of my coworkers, and I was trying to kind of dance around it to be PC, but she was the one who brought it to me, like, no, like your feelings are valid, like I don't know why she would say that, like it does seem a little suspicious, and so I feel like having people like that and in the workplace that you can work with and who will keep it 100% with you and allow you to be authentic. I think that is important. But on the same token, I wouldn't be able to have that conversation with somebody else. Right. I can have that with her because she's intentional about it.
And she's created a safe space.
She created a safe space and she's intentional about it.
Yep.
But not everybody is like that. Yeah. And I feel like, the person that you work with is like that as well. Oh, yeah, he has definitely created a safe space for you to show up authentically as yourself.
From the day I walked into the interview.
Yeah, they want you. They want all of what you bring to the table.
Do they though?
I mean, maybe not all of it, child.
I mean, no. Like,
don't bring all your milkshake to the yard.
Right. I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed. I think we've said this before, and I've even said this at work. I was like, I don't think that I was supposed to be at the company that I was at 3 years ago. Yeah. If George Floyd had happened 3 years ago, I would have lost my job on account of just being open and honest. Yeah. And I feel like where I am now, I have been able to facilitate very progressive conversations around race, understanding bias, deconstructing bias, but not just specifically to race, but to gay rights as it relates to, bias around age, bias around, whether you went to an HBCU or not. So I feel very blessed to be with the company that I'm with. But okay, last thing around professionals on the professional side, imposter syndrome. When I was young, I was always questioning, like, why am I here? Why am I here? Like, and I just wish in my 20s, I really understood the fact that, like, I had a voice, I had a perspective, and I was supposed to be there.
Yes.
Because I think the extent to which imposter syndrome crawled up my ass and just pitched a tent, like, was so severe. Like, I would disassociate, like, literally be in a room staring at a wall, and people would be like, Nicole, you're here, but you're not here. What's going on? And it was just the anxiety that got the best of me. So I just, I know we have listeners from a very wide age spectrum, but I would just say it is so important to just make sure that you understand you have a voice, you are there for a reason, and if you need to have that validated, don't be afraid to ask that question.
To an environment, and I feel the same. Sis, like for me, it was my dialect and my accent from Louisiana. Like, oh my God, Jesus, anybody from Louisiana, y'all know how we talk and how we get down. So for me, that has been the biggest struggle.
The biggest hurdle.
Talking about imposter syndrome, like, oh my God, like you're educated, you're highly educated, but I have this culture and, we grew up speaking in a kind of way. And we have this dialect. And for me, it's just like, girl, why are you trying to talk like somebody else? Like, why are you trying to talk like somebody you're not?
Just be you.
Just be you.
It's easier. Everyone else is taken.
Exactly.
Okay. So relationships. I had a couple of things real quick. Gonna run through them.
Let's speed through them.
Okay. They take a lot of work.
Amen.
Relationships take a lot of fucking work. Another key takeaway that I wish I knew in my 20s. I'm not the main character in everybody's story.
Oh.
Just my own.
Not necessarily, maybe even your own.
Maybe not even my own.
Right?
Right? But not the main character. Didn't need to settle. Didn't need to settle. And I wish I had the discernment in my 20s to walk away from the things that didn't serve me.
Preach.
Sooner.
Yes.
Than I did.
Same.
Because I probably would have gotten about, 7.5 years of my life back. No regrets, but would have gotten that back. And then the last one, romantic relationships don't define me.
Oh.
The only thing that defines me is me.
Amen.
And I am not Nicole through the eyes of another person. I'm Nicole through my own eyes.
Correct. So. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day, right?
Agreed.
Is how you show up and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Not only the 23-year-old Nicole, but the 13-year-old Nicole and the 3-year-old Nicole.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
So true.
Because if Nicole is not there for herself and whole, she can't be there for anybody.
That's right. We always say you can't pour from an empty cup.
Just can't.
You can't pour from an empty cup. And it's interesting because I be on the TikTok and I just like to scroll every once in a while and I see.
Every once in a while. Ciao. Stop lying.
Don't judge me.
Okay. Don't judge me.
And I just see what these girls, these women are doing. They're like, a Sunday. Here's what I do on a Sunday. I light a candle. I clean. And I know everything that you see on social media isn't real life. But like, these girls are embracing a lot of this now. These young women are embracing a lot of what we're saying now. That's the beauty of social media. Yes.
That is the beauty of social media. Because if I would have had these examples, albeit true or not, right?
Right.
Then it would have given me at least a North Star to look forward to, instead of just trying to have to figure everything out on my motherfucking own.
Feeling in the dark.
Right, exactly. Like, or shooting darts in the dark. Like, is that it? Is that, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I do think that the good side of social media is that it empowers a lot of women. Right. It empowers a lot of people.
Yeah, that's definite upside. And I also would say social media is helping women realize that it's okay. It's okay to be alone.
Oh, yes.
You don't have to be in a relationship. Yes, that's nice, but you're no good in a relationship if you are no good or unhappy here. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of messaging out there that is empowering and inspiring to young women. And I would just say, cautionary tale, just make sure that you're taking what you need from that, right? Yeah. Because it doesn't resonate with everybody, but just take what you need from it. So, I mean, no regrets. Love where I am. Love what we're doing. Love the fact
that how far we've come.
Yeah, this is like a part 2 of life, right? Like I never would have thought in my 20s that I would be sitting here with someone that I met 2 years ago doing a podcast, right? But
here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
And I think the moral of the story is you just never know where the fuck life's gonna take you. So just be ready to buckle up and enjoy the ride, bitch.
And also, cheers to no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
And living unapologetically.
That's
cheers
right.
to that.
Cheers to that.
Okay.
So with that, we're going to take a sip.
Must.
And then we're going to bring in Good Journey for What's Poppin'. Hey, Good Journey.
Hey, friends. In the building.
Cheers. Ting, 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 ting. Cheers, love. Too far now.
Wait, this microphone.
All right. So it's the last What's Poppin' of the season. Aww. We've been gone for a little bit. So I've got some pent up What's Poppin' topics for us today.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I know, me too. We're going to start with money. First and foremost, we have a new billionaire on the block, and her name is Rihanna, and I stand.
Oh!
I stand.
Self-made.
It ain't Kylie over here, sis. Like, self-made.
Shade.
Right.
And it's going to be.
Okay.
Because Kylie was lying on those papers to Forbes. We all know that is a fact.
Wow.
Rihanna, on the other hand, came up from
the bottom.
And now she is here.
The Boulders in Barbados.
And she worked her way through Rock Nation. She worked her way through the beauty space and cultivated a whole lane all her own. And now all of these other brands are copying her style, opening up these color palettes that did not exist in years past.
Yes.
Like, I am so proud of our Rihanna
So
girl.
proud of her. Speaking of no fucks given, she has not given any. And
talk about unapologetic.
Unapologetically herself from jump. And I stand.
I love that.
I saw a video.
Ree.
Yes, congratulations, Ree. We love you. You know, I've been rocking hard with you from Pond the Replay.
Good song.
But saw a video of her literally in the club with some ganja, we'll say that, right?
She's probably still breastfeeding, right? Who cares?
Listen,
she's good.
Pump and dump. You know the vibe.
You know the drill. You know the drill.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, congratulations to Rihanna. Another money move that has been made is Johnny Depp. So he went through that whole thing with Amber Heard. They fired him from just about every single thing that he was on. He went through the trial and he won. And now Pirates of the Caribbean ran back the block.
They brought him back.
$310 million for a single movie.
Get those coins. Now, see, I didn't follow that case. I was not interested. But not interested. But there was something else going on around the same time.
It was a lot going on at the same time.
There was another something going on at the same time.
Was it the R. Kelly case?
That's been ongoing, child. There was something else going on that I couldn't focus in on that.
There was something. I mean, it might have been Roe v. Wade.
Like socially, yeah.
It might have been Roe v. Wade.
Socially going on. I couldn't focus on that. But
Clarence Thomas trying to roll back policy.
And he was talking about like they had got into an argument and he had gotten out of bed and when he came back to bed, like there was some shit.
She defecated
on the bed. Yes. And she was just like, it was the dog.
Let me tell you something about Amber Heard. That woman is crazy.
She is. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. No doubt.
No doubt. Listen, and it makes it really sad because it was one of those things where you want to believe women when they say that they're being abused. Yeah. And she lied on that man.
I will also say though, like, abuse is like a fine line when you're in a relationship, right? Like,
here we go.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there.
But here's the thing: like, meanwhile, she was the one abusing Johnny Depp.
They were abusing each other.
She had a whole bruised makeup kit.
Girl, they were abusing each other.
It was a mess.
She went off on him. He went off on her.
Yeah, this was a mutually
the toxicity was at an all-time high.
And volatile relationship.
Yes, and it happens.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, I feel like he just needed this to clear his name. She owes him like
$8 to $10 but that's why they brought this to court and they had this whole spectacle so that he can clear his name.
Right.
Exactly. Now he's cleared his name. Now, congratulations.
So she won her case in the UK. And he won his case
in the US. Yeah,
exactly.
And she has a judgment of like, I can't remember if it's $8 to $10 million that she owes him.
The United of the States child. They don't give women no rights. No. We talked about this.
I mean, we've talked about what they take away.
We talked about this. I mean, you know what?
Next, I won't be able to use tampons.
I wouldn't trust nothing coming out the USA for a woman child.
That's facts.
For a number of years. Not until a couple of the justices pass on. The conservative ones.
And they're like younger. Like they're in their, you know what I mean? They're not like
a lot of life in them.
No, pack the court. They need to pack the court.
Yeah, let's up the numbers.
Yeah,
let's up the numbers. That's the only way we make it work.
Speaking of court, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years. Giselle, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that girl. Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice was 20 years.
She was.
So R. Kelly is how many?
30 years in a pen.
And Ghislaine is
20.
Okay, and she was just like
she was an accomplice.
She was like
she was a madam. She was setting it up.
Yeah, she was an accomplice.
She was setting it up.
R. Kelly actually
all
did
I'm gonna say is this: I don't want to get canceled for this. But,
here we go.
But I'm gonna say it.
Y'all wait before we say
a minute.
This,
take a sip.
Y'all know our heart.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's pure.
Right.
I feel like as a parent, as a mother, if I had heard these things, these rumors, these rumblings about a person, I would not allow my daughter to be alone with said person. Now, R. Kelly, yes, he's sick. However, his catalog is amazing, child. If y'all think I'm gonna stop listening to that shit, y'all lost your motherfucking mind. I am not listening to that catalog. I'm sorry,
Kelly.
He can do his time in peace, child.
Listen,
but
I feel like
as
soon as he pays his time, I'm gonna feel better. Here's the thing: I won't ever turn on an R. Kelly song, but I won't turn it off.
Turn it off,
girl. The way I'm a flirt on replay last weekend. I
was just like, I requested it at a barbecue. I felt bad, and people were looking at me like, "No, she didn't."
Yeah,
no, but
I'm sorry.
Okay, what's your favorite R. Kelly song? I'm gonna go first.
Okay,
I'm gonna go first.
Oh, but how are we doing this right now?
It's okay.
The whole album.
He's in prison.
Okay,
it's fine. Okay. It's the remix to Ignition. Every time I hear that song,
what's yours?
TP2.com was the best album. I was just in college. It was the best album ever. I remember every song. And after I listened to I'm a Flirt,
yes,
I went and listened to the whole TP2.com. I'm sorry. I just love R. Kelly. Not R. Kelly, but love his music. Love his music.
That is a flawed individual.
He's sick. He's definitely sick.
A disgusting man.
I mean, why I got
to
suffer.
His music though, okay.
I got to suffer because he's sick. I would just listen to the music, child.
That's facts.
At my house by myself. Nobody. I'm not harming nobody. I'm being unapologetically my goddamn self.
I mean,
I want to hear it.
I'm gonna play. Right.
I want to hear it. I'm gonna play it.
He needs to stay in prison though, under the jail.
He does.
30 years though. That man gonna be an old man by the time
Bill
he gets out of
Cosby
jail.
by the time he come out.
Big old man.
Jesus.
So
those parents have some culpability.
No, 100%.
Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. Send my child away with a predator.
No, 100%. And it was widely known. Like, this was not a secret. Everybody knew about it.
It was parents trying to live vicariously through their children.
Correct. Everybody wanted to be famous.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. That's what I'm not going to do. We're going to be together, child.
You going to the studio? I guess
we're
going to the studio.
Oh, you going to stay where? You going to stay where? I want all the best for my children, but I mean, you still have to protect them. Protect your children.
Okay, so there's a couple of good ones here.
I need one, Nicole, because
God dang, you know my music head music is like. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to
the playlist, bitch.
She did.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna go back to, because you know I don't follow rules. Original catalog, Your Body's Calling.
Is that my mind's telling me no?
I can't play it because
no. You know, I know you can sing though. You can sing.
No, this one was
I forgot. You don't like us.
The one that had it just.
All right, Carl, we don't have a lot of time.
Same Girl was another one too. With
Who?
Usher.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Girl
I like that one too.
The one that he did with the Isley Brothers.
Oh yeah, Mr.
Shut up. Can't you see two men?
We can go. See, clearly, we can go on and on. I was the one who was brave enough to say it.
I know, you're right.
All feel it.
Our producer's looking at us like we're crazy.
Blame it on the champagne. Go ahead.
Blame it. Okay. The other thing in terms of legal battles is in Florida, it is now illegal to drive around with your music loud.
Illegal?
And it's illegal. You can get pulled over, ticketed, etc. And I feel like this is specifically aimed at Black people.
It is.
Another Black person, like another way to just like pack the
restrict.
Jail. Yeah. Correct. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. In Florida,
I don't like that either.
I don't like that either.
This is Ron DeSantis.
And I used to say a lot of bad things about Florida, but Texas is
worse.
It's a close second. Florida's the worst. Texas is a very close second.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that if Wheelchair McGee, it stays in
office.
I
was gonna say Fast Wheels.
Hot Wheels, girl. You know we gonna call this man Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels got to go.
Let me just say this: if you know. If you live in Texas, you know.
I feel like yes,
he vote against his own interest.
Makes no sense.
Like he don't even want the best for himself.
Make it make sense.
Like let it go.
The math don't math.
The math is not mathing. But funny story. I heard that, and so I pulled up to my son's school as I was bumping really loud R. Kelly.
No,
and the security
was it I'm a flirt? Was it?
Of course, I've been on I'm a flirt for about a week. So I get hooked. I'm there.
Right,
I'm there. I'm connected.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh shit! I pulled up. The security's looking at me like, because my bass in my car is just like boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, oh shit! Let me turn this down. Like I felt
picking up the baby.
You felt the
ramifications, yes, from that law, that new law that was passed in Florida. Like you can't just be in your car anymore
and just vibe,
just vibing out. Like that sucks. Disgusting. Like that sucks, and it's not even about disturbing the peace. It's just about like enjoying yourself, like
being caught up in the rapture.
Exactly, being caught up in a song, enjoying yourself, having fun.
Like who are you hurting?
Yeah, like that's ridiculous.
Between my front seat and my shower, I mean, I be having sold out concerts,
girl.
Like I would die in Florida. I would die in Florida. I'd be singing hard.
I know.
Very hard.
And it's a very subjective law. Like who's to say
what's loud? I mean? And my car has a very great.
The bass is basic.
Yeah, I got a Meridiana system.
Like I have a great combo.
Yes.
My system is great. So loud for me is like low for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so you know how we talk about Nick Cannon having 7 kids and a couple more on the way?
Too many.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk has been flying under the radar. Meanwhile, this man has hood twins. So he's got
what?
Hood twins.
Not hood twins.
Does. So he had a baby with like an actress. I can't remember her name. It escapes me. It's not important. But then he had another set of twins at around the same time with one of his executives that works at Tesla.
Wait. An executive that the HR radar just went on.
One of his top executives on the low last November.
Have a baby.
Sis's name.
I was about to say, girl.
Sis's name is Siobhan Zill. She's 36 years old.
Go ahead.
She's not a Black woman. She's not a Black woman.
Is it Irish?
She's racially ambiguous.
Oh, she's not Scottish.
But
like
she probably
Siobhan.
got Black in her somewhere.
Maybe somewhere down the line, child. But what she does have is a trust fund for them babies. That's what she does have. She will never go hungry again. Salute and mazel tov to you, Siobhan, because he bagged a billionaire.
But he's
Good for you.
I don't
He's
think
a
she
weirdo.
bagged him.
She bagged a billionaire. Stop it.
She had kids. She
It is nothing attractive about Elon Musk.
He's a weirdo.
He's
definitely a weirdo.
Did you see him
a
on Saturday Night Live? That
He's
is a weird
weirdo.
man.
He's just
He is
awkward.
he's definitely
Ain't no getting
he's
past
awkward.
that. Ain't no getting horizontal.
She
with
said the
that,
bonus
child.
wasn't enough. I need these twins.
First of all, you would get horizontal with Elon Musk.
I said ain't no getting horizontal.
So I say you wouldn't get horizontal with Elon Musk.
She said them dollar signs. I'ma do it.
Listen, them dollar signs. Them dollar signs
I'm
can't.
talking about for an ambiguous woman. Just first of all, pull that picture of her.
Here she go.
Okay,
Let me see.
Basic.
Let me see.
You would get
At
horizontal
best.
if you were her, not you personally, but if you were her.
If I were her,
If you were her,
I probably would.
basic Betty.
But if I'm me, it's
right, we have
a
standards.
hard
We have
no.
standards,
It's a
child.
hard
Listen,
no,
we have
child.
standards.
Let me tell you something about myself. I work for a large Fortune 500 tech company. Now,
go.
if the owner of said company came to me and said, Kim,
Toot that
they
thing
call
up,
me
Bobby.
Kim at work.
toot
Kim,
that thing up, Bobby, make a roll.
I would do what I needed to do.
No, you would not.
Would.
Oh my god.
Absolutely would. And I wouldn't tell HR nothing, child.
You are HR. You are HR.
Stop. Y'all playing too much. Stop.
I'm done.
I'm done. Girl, this is over. This is over.
okay.
We gotta end it.
What
But
else
you know
you
I'm
got?
right, and you
Over.
know y'all would do too if you weren't married. If you were single, you would be saying the same.
Girl, I'm
thing.
gonna sip my
Girl,
champagne.
not an Elon Musk child.
Would.
Girl, he
All
look
them
like,
billions behind his
He
name.
look like Adolf Hitler without the thing.
I mean, I wouldn't be so judgmental, child. But we will see each other.
Yes, you would.
There would be
We
other
just
factors.
talked about this. In your 20s, you
There were-
absolutely would be more selective. Cat got your tongue?
Would I? Okay, do we have time for one more
Yes,
story?
we do.
Okay.
Maybe two.
We have
Okay.
a surprise. We have a surprise.
Okay.
So we
one last story. It's
What?
in Kardashian news.
You know,
I didn't even want to look to my right because I know Kelly. I'm gonna look over here.
Here we go.
Kardashian news. Okay, Travis Barker was admitted to the hospital a couple weeks back with pancreatitis due to a colonoscopy gone wrong. They were very... Okay, this was life-threatening, but I don't like the way the Kardashians roll because it was like, pray for Travis, and they would show like his arm with like the, just shut up and get well. Like, what are you talking to me for?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
But that's like, what's his name? The pastor and his wife.
Yeah,
Gray.
I did. I saw
What's
this.
his name, Kim? That's
His
your
name is-
pastor.
It's not my pastor.
But you used to go. He used to be your pastor.
Was, but his name is
Okay.
John Gray. He's
Yeah,
married
yeah,
to
yeah,
Aventer
Child,
Gray.
that's a mess.
And he has blood. He had a big blood clot in his leg, I believe, that
Yeah.
if it moved in any certain direction, it was like instant death.
Yeah.
The blood clot, thank God, God has a plan for everything, right? So the blood clot dissipated. He's got a couple more that are in his system, but it's looking like he's not going to, pass away from this.
Yeah. Praise
Which
God.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I feel like now is a testimony. It's a time to turn
It's a
your
time to
life
calm
around.
down.
It's a
Like,
time to do
Was he
right.
doing the most as a pastor?
Oh,
Was he on the pulpit?
bitch. Go Google it. We don't have time today.
What I'm not going to do
Google
is say
it.
a word. All I'm
Google
saying is
him.
I am
I'm not gonna talk
praying
about this man
for
'cause
the
he's in
Gray
hospital, child.
family.
He was just on his deathbed yesterday.
We gonna Google him.
Let's not.
We're gonna Google him tonight at dinner.
Listen, I rebuke you that in the Holy Spirit.
we will rebuke that. So I'm surprised that you didn't have anything to say about Roe
I
v.
don't
Wade.
have, oh, well, because y'all already talked
We-
about
we
Roe v.
covered
We
Wade.
did talk about it, but what's your thoughts, sis?
My thoughts is it bothers my soul that I have less rights than a gun. I have less rights
bothers.
than, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
an
Ooh, you stole my
inanimate
heart.
object has more rights than I do. Like, how are you
Yes.
going to tell me what to do with the body that I have? If I am now sick in the hospital, are you going to pay my bills? If I can't make my mortgage, are you going to pay that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
Are you going to make these men that I'm pregnant for pay child support?
What they need to do is outlaw
Pregnant
Viagra,
for or
because if
pregnant
it's God's
by?
will for me to be pregnant, then it's God's will for you to be soft. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean by
So
soft?
leave-
Like Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Oh, so we shouldn't have
Outlaw
Cialis and
it.
Viagra?
We should
it
not have
away.
none of that.
Take
Take
it
it off the
away.
market.
Take it off.
Take it off the
away.
market.
And let ED be a thing.
Yeah.
Let it be a
a
thing.
thing. Let it be what it is. It's
Right.
nature.
And that's
right,
on that.
right, exactly.
Let
Natural
nature, so let it
selection.
natural. Yes.
That's
Let
natural
it take its
selection.
course.
That's natural
Yes.
selection. You didn't eat your vegetables. You didn't drink your water
didn't drink your
correctly when
water.
you were
You
young.
didn't
And
do
this is what
reverse
happens.
deadlift. Sorry.
Correct. And this
Your
is what
dad had the
happens.
same issue because
Period.
it's hereditary.
So, well, Sorry for you.
If your daddy had ED, you had ED.
It's a high possibility, child. I wanted to also say, I didn't mention this, but I did celebrate an anniversary over our break. So me and my husband celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Happy anniversary.
I did want to acknowledge that. I did not remember it as we were speaking because I try not to like write notes. I try to be as like off the dome as possible. But yes, happy anniversary, babe. Yay. And with that, thank you so much, Good Journey. We're wrapping it, right? Yeah. We're wrapping. Yes. So we have a surprise for you all. We have 3 very important, very beautiful VIP guests that we want to introduce to you all who have been waiting for this moment. So, girls, come on over. Hi.
Watch your step. Come over here.
Hi, girls. So these are our daughters, and we spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about them, and we joke around a lot, but we really try to be an inspiration and true role models for them because we love them so much, and we want them to be the best that they could absolutely be. So with that, we'll let them introduce themselves, and we're going to start here with this one right here.
Okay, introduce yourself, but I want you to say what your favorite thing about your mommy is.
My name is Sydney, and my favorite. My name is Sydney, and my favorite thing about my mom is personality.
Okay, you like her personality.
Yeah.
Okay, good job, sis.
Cheers for personality.
Okay, go for it, sis. Talking to the mic.
My name is Noelle, and what I like about my mom is she is caring.
Oh, that's so sweet, Noelle.
Here you go. I got to be careful with the microphone, child. Go ahead.
My name is Chloe.
Oh, look right here.
One of those cameras.
One of these, yep.
My name is Chloe, and I love my mom because she's my singing partner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a fact. So with that, we try to, again, keep these girls very close, near and dear to our heart, and we don't want to share a lot about them or them with the world, but they wanted to be here today, and we thought that it was only appropriate for our last episode this season and what we're talking about to introduce them to you all. So with that, we had a great second season.
We made it. We did it, Joe.
We're going to take a break, a very quick break, regroup, get our creative juices flowing, and then we'll be back with season 3 with all new topics, all new guests. Fun, funny. The journey was popping.
We in the building.
Yes, we're going up. Okay, if you have champagne left, raise your glass.
If you have champagne, raise your glass.
I was a thirsty girl.
Cheers to season 2.
Cheers to season 2.
Love y'all.
Cheers to our girls.
Cheers to our girls.
Follow me at Good Journey, 2 E's, no Y.
Yes, follow us at Champagne Wives Podcast on IG. If you watch our videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And with that, we will see you guys in season 3.
Girls say it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Bye.